How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Fate Stay Night Remastered. I don't necessarily remember where we left off last, honestly. I think we were given some very concerning information, like very briefly at the end of the last episode, but I don't recall what it was. I had gotten sick since the last time that we recorded, and or had an episode recorded, sorry. And yeah, I'm feeling somewhat better, but obviously I don't remember a whole lot. My brain is just not functioning here already. Great start, right? I believe we are in an interlude. I think this is like a bit of a, I think somebody mentioned in the last episode, a concurring event, but I guess we'll see. He opens the door without waiting for a reply. He's never waited for his little sister to answer before opening the door. No, this seems like a flashback instead. Nope, never mind. Never mind. He clicks his tongue and steps into the room. Shinji Matou paces around his sister's room like a blind dog, running his nails along the walls.
Sakura, 今日も近か? ああ、僕を差し置いて、また下で何かやっているんだろう。
Nobody answers his repeated questions. There's no one else in the room. His sister hasn't been back home for the last few days. Shinji keeps pacing around the room even though he knows full well that its resident isn't here.
いつも通り。まったく、本当にいつも通りじゃないか。
He picks up a clock and throws it. The sound of the glass breaking irritates him more than he expected.
どこ行ってんだよ。兄貴に内緒でさ。
He keeps throwing things as if spitting out his anger. That's how this always goes. It's how he's compensated on a regular basis for the last few years. It's the greatest act of resistance he can do to forgive himself and his sister ever since learning the truth 3 years ago. When he was born, the Matou bloodline had already outlived its purpose. Their noble line lost its power, and the Matous were reduced to ordinary people. Their only special assets were their knowledge. A once great lineage of arcane scholars met its obscure end in the Orient. He was told those facts even as a child. He was taught the Matous were special, a clan entrusted with miracles. Were. Yeah, big key word there. There were no Matous left who could use magecraft, and they would have to live in society as normal people from now on. But he didn't think so. It's true that without magic circuits, or whatever they were called, he couldn't perform magecraft on his own. He knew that the mages died out with his father's generation, and that he wasn't qualified to inherit the Matou name. But the Matous still had records of their miracles. Only their bloodline was over. They still had their wealth of knowledge. To the boy, that was enough to make him special. He wasn't like other people. The Matous were a chosen people. Their worth hadn't diminished just because they lost their magical power and stopped being mages. He was proud to be part of the special family and would live an exceptional life. He might be lacking as a mage, but he was born into a chosen family. That was for sure. No, I mean, I'll give him that. One day a new child came into their fold. His father said that the girl had no next of kin, so they would be adopting her. It was more than 10 years ago. So even he doesn't know. From that day forward, the girl named Sakura became his little sister. At first, he didn't like her. He didn't want some foreign element to come into their special family. But as the days passed, he began to approve of her. Sakura was quiet, plain, and little better than a guard dog. Trying to be hostile towards her was a waste of time, so we began to dote on her stupidity to an extent. He buried himself in books, learned arcane arts that he couldn't perform, and thought of himself as the Matou heir. Only he was allowed into the Matou library. His sister was adopted, and she would never be chosen as the heir, so she had no right to look at those books. Surely she would live the rest of her life as a normal person, unaware of the Matou's remaining precious knowledge. That notion satisfied his arrogance. Each mage family only has one successor. He knew that, so he never had any doubts that his sister would be cast off and raised separately. Only one of them could learn magecraft, so it was natural that he didn't see her around much. Damn, he had the wrong idea for way too long then. That's right. In fact, he pitied her. They lived in the same house and had the same parents, and yet only he was considered special. He felt sorry for his sister who wasn't chosen. His haughty attitude was the compassion of one who is superior, and of course a source of his self-esteem as a reliable big brother. So the brother pitied his sister and treated her with affection. His sister never looked him in the eye. He figured she felt ashamed of herself, and so he doted on his helpless little sister, until the day he learned the truth. That was the only sound he could make when he happened upon that room. A room he never knew about, wisdom that was never imparted to him, and talents he was never born with. All of that was here, and she was in the middle of the room, surrounded by black squirming things and their scary grandfather. His father glanced at him with a look of scorn that he'd never seen before, as if he was an intruder. It was over. Everything he'd ever believed, that he had constructed in his head, was turned upside down. He wasn't the special one. His sister wasn't being kept away. She wasn't the one to feel sorry for. He wasn't the one looking down at her out of pity. His life was transformed. Now that his father didn't need to hide it anymore, he began to interact only with the little sister. His little sister still wouldn't say anything. She just kept staring at the floor like always. With that same attitude that seemed like she wanted to escape his gaze, she said, "Oh man." She said it with the same sympathy that he once directed at her. It basically broke him. After all those years, he was in the wrong. He interpreted things incorrectly and lived life somewhat as a lie. Like, it's already kind of sad, you know, the family's circumstance in general and how Shinji was trying to go about it, you know, to uphold his position, but it was never his position at all. He laughed. He guffawed like there was no tomorrow. It was so hilarious he wanted to break everything. The girl he had thought of as a plaything was the real master, while he was a clown all along. Was he the crazy one or her? Probably both. His life shattered. He went back to the house and realized something. It wasn't as if the world suddenly got turned around. Well, his environment was always this way. The only one who had it backwards, who misunderstood, was himself. He realized how wretched he was. He had it all wrong from the beginning. The next 3 years were nothing but pain for him. His father died, and his grandfather only paid attention to his sister. Shinji Matou was no different from the heir inside the mansion. He was treated like it didn't matter whether he was there or not, and in fact, that's all he was worth. And she sympathized with him. She said sorry. She didn't necessarily say it out loud, but she apologized every time they saw each other. She apologized for taking Shinji Matou's place. She should have just ignored him. Then he would have lost his dignity, and he wouldn't feel any hope. Sakura would apologize. That only made him feel like there was no outlet for everything he was feeling. In light of his humiliation, surely there was nothing wrong with him treating her this way. Okay, so knowing that course of events, can you feel a little bit of sympathy for Shinji at this point? Maybe? I don't know if I do, but I think it's understandable to do so. Honestly, this family is kind of fucked up. Like, not only has it totally, like, lost out on any greatness that it once had, but they're kind of fucking dumb. They really should have clarified from the get-go, hey, this is going to be the the mage of the family now. Like, she actually has magic circuits. We're going to teach her our shit. You can go do whatever the fuck you want. Like, allow him to learn more about the family or whatever, because he's not ever going to be the mage, you know? So just let him know from the get-go at a young age, so that as he grows, he can, you know, grow with the understanding it's not going to be him. It's going to hurt. It will. But tell him first. Don't wait 7 years later for him to accidentally find out and then everybody treats him like shit. I don't think that's the way to go. But also, you look at the Tosukas, the way they went about it as well. A deal being struck of some kind, and Rin just immediately loses her sister. I don't know how I feel about that either, but it was an opportunity for Sakura to be able to grow as a mage as well. But it's also still a fucked up family, because now she's got worms inside her and really just fucked up knowledge in general. That whole direction is just vile. So really, it's messy all around. I think we can all agree on that. It is an absolutely messy situation all around. But I do want to say I can kind of sympathize with Shinji a little bit here, but his personality became the way it was, I guess, through this jealousy. It really spiraled the way he found out.
お前はマトウの後継者だぞ。マトウの後継者だぞ。尊きマトウの後継者なんだぞ。
The room shows no sign of being lived in. That went without saying. To Sakura Matou, her only bedroom was that underground nest, while this room was just for appearances. She wouldn't care no matter how much he messed up the room or how many things he broke. It won't change the fact that her name is the one on the door.
それなのに謝るんだよな、お前は。ごめんなさい、ごめんなさいってさ。じゃあさ、すまないと思うんなら、僕の言うことだけを素直に聞けよ。罪の意識？そんなもの知ったことか。マトウ家の人間って自覚があるなら、兄の言うことを聞くのは妹として当然のことだろう。
He tears off the bed sheets. She belonged to him. She never defied him, never thought for herself. She just lived here. So why did she leave him now?
お前が取ったんだぞ、エミヤ。
That was a miscalculation on his part. He knew that she was attracted to Shirou Emiya. I mean, we all knew that, honestly. Before they met, she never had any interest, but she started to think like a human being once she met Shirou Emiya. Then she gradually recovered her personality until she left Shinji. After all the trouble he went through to act like a nice older brother, how could she go with that stranger Shirou Emiya and not him?
だから言ったんだ。あいつの家にやるのは良くないって。なのにあのジジイ。エミヤは監視しなくてはならんとかふざけたこと言いやがって。
Their grandfather never made any effort to bring Sakura home after giving the order. He just said to let her be, and even warned Shinji to restrain himself.
見ていろ。必ず償わせてやるぞ、エミヤ。お前はサクラの見ている前で引き裂いてやる。
That's another strange thing. So he does seem to care about Sakura to a degree, right? But for him to use her as a hostage, if you guys recall, you know, and also, you know, there was a bit of a trade-off deal. She didn't have to fight in the war, and Shinji gets to, you know, think that he's actually somebody. There was also that. But I don't know. I really don't know what to think in terms of how he actually feels about Sakura. That's right. If Sakura was going to leave him, then he'd just force her back into their old relationship. If she was going to leave the Matou family for him...
昔みたいにさ、また昔みたいになればいいだけじゃないか。
Yeah, what does that mean? He cackles. His reflection in the cloudy window is as ghastly as a skull. What are you on about, Shinji? What are you thinking? What are you talking about, dog? Let me know. Please, tell me. Turn to the camera and tell me. Oh, we're getting closer to patrol time. It's evening now. Tosuka seems busy and Sakura is asleep, so I'll make dinner. My left arm can move, albeit slowly, so it shouldn't stop me from cooking simple meals. We're getting there.
カジキの唐揚げと、あとは肉じゃがかな、これは。
I check what we have in the refrigerator and decide on tonight's menu. With 2 new mouths to feed, our ingredients go quickly. I'll have to make some time tomorrow to go downtown for groceries. I truly believe that our calm before the storm will be ending soon.
いただきます。
Wow, everybody is happy. This is weird. Everyone seems excited to see that dinner's ready and waiting for them in the living room. I wonder where Ryder is, but she likely has her reasons for being absent. Ryder's priority is to protect Sakura, and maybe she doesn't want to have too much contact with Tosuka, who could become an enemy.
後で食べに来るかな、ライダー。
If she doesn't come over, I'll pack a meal and bring it to her later. She doesn't seem to like being around other people, so she's probably in the shed or the dojo.
へえ、シローってこういうのが得意なんだ。さくらは洋食で、シローは和食派ってこと？
Tosuka looks at me with surprise as she munches on the fried fish. I fried the marlin fillets golden brown and made an elegant soy sauce marinade, that brings out the fragrance of ginger. Tosuka seems fond of it.
私はこっちのが好きよ。シローがお料理上手で嬉しいわ。
Next to her, Ilya is enjoying a mouthful of savory sweet beef stew. It's too bad that I didn't have any potatoes on hand, but I'm glad that she likes it. But Sakura's holding her chopsticks looking confused.
さくら、どうした？食欲ないのか？
あ、食欲はあるんですけど、その先輩。
Oh, I remember the bad news, the grim news that was stated to us at the end of the last episode. Yeah, apparently, Shirou may only have a few days left to live, which is a little different than what Kodamine told us. A little different than what Rin may have told us. I don't recall if she said anything. Yeah, we're gonna have to rely on her help to really prolong Shirou's life here.
この肉じゃが、お砂糖入ってませんよ。味付けが変です。
Did I really make such a rookie mistake with beef stew of all things?
くそ、ちょっと待った。
I taste the beef stew from the pot in the middle of the table. That's odd. This is how I always season it.
さくら、なんか変かな？
変って、これ、お砂糖と塩が逆になってませんか？甘みが全くないんですけど。そう？肉じゃがってこういう味でしょ？そりゃ隠し味らしきものが入ってるから他のとは違うけど、ちょっと真似できない味よ、これ。私は初めてだからわからないけど、美味しいよ。ちょうどいい甘さで食べやすいし。
Sakura pokes at her beef stew with a puzzled expression. She takes one bite, and a second, and then a third.
さくら。
なんか味付けの薄いところを選んじゃったみたいです。変なこと言ってごめんなさい。先輩。
She laughs and resumes eating, unless her tastes are beginning to, fall apart here. Sakura moves her chopsticks as if nothing happened. I got a little nervous when she started looking off, but then she regained her spirits. With gusto, she even asked for a third helping. Tosuka watched in surprise as Sakura kept eating with delight until we completely finished all of the food and rice. What are these expressions? Especially Ilya's. Sometimes when you're hungry, you just chow down. It's after 10 p.m. now.
時間ね。そろそろ行くわよ、シロ。
Tosuka appears ready to leave.
わかってる。それじゃあ留守番頼むぞ、さくら。
Tosuka and I will go out on patrol as planned. It sounds stupid to think that we can fight back against Zoken by patrolling the town, but that's all we can do at the moment. Honestly, I think we are in such a horrible predicament in general. I don't really see how we can really come out on top, but Miracles do happen in the old Fate Stay Night remastered, don't they? The enemies we have to beat are Zoken, Assassin, Saber, and that mysterious Shadow. To be honest, there's no way we can beat them in a straight fight. I just have to be patient while Tosuke comes up with countermeasures. Despite that, we can't stay cooped up in the house. As the news said this morning, Zoken has started attacking civilians. Who's to say that's necessarily Zoken and not somebody else, but whatever. We might not be able to beat him now, but I don't think it's a waste to try and prevent more people from falling victim. I mean, fair enough. I put on my shoes without saying anything. Both of us know how dangerous it is to go out at night. Even if Zoken is only after Sakura, he might consider it a nuisance if we're walking around town. In the worst case, what happened in the forest might happen again. The thought doesn't make me very talkative.
ちょっと、どういうつもりよ、あなた。
What? Whose problem? And then, I'm not in the mood even for a serious talk, but I look up to see Tosuke staring at me.
見送りなら結構よ。おとなしく部屋に戻っていなさい、桜。
Staring through me, to be exact. She's glaring at Sakura, who's standing in the hallway.
姉さん、やっぱり。
No, no.
私も一緒に行きます。姉さんと先輩だけじゃ、夜で歩くのは危険だから。
Sakura.
So that's why she's here. I appreciate the sentiment, but we have to stick to the plan.
ダメだ。ゾウケンの狙いはさくらだって分かってるだろ。さくらはイリアと一緒にここで身を守っていてくれ。
それは分かっています。けど、先輩は片手が動かないし、姉さんだってもうサーバントがいないし、ふざけないでさくら。あなたが私たちの敵であることは変わらないのよ。そんないつゾウケンの手駒になるかわからないやつに背中なんて預けられない。けど姉さん、あなたはあなただけ守っていればいいのよ。私たちに少しでもすまないって思うんなら、こんなことで手を煩わせないでちょうだい。あなたはライダーに自分とイリアを守らせておくだけでいいんだから。
父さか、お前
ほら、ぼーっとしてないで行くわよ。こんなことをしている間にも犠牲者が出てるかもしれないんだから。
Tosuke grabs my hand and pulls me out of the house.
ともかく気をつけて留守番してるんだぞ、さくら。イリアのことは任せたからな。
I mean, I feel bad too, but Sakura is capable enough, and I'd like to argue even Ilya is capable enough.
おい、待てってば、父さか。ちゃんとついてくから、いい加減手を離せ。
ぐずぐずしてるそっちが悪いんでしょ。
Tosuke releases my hand and stops power walking.
何よその顔。言いたいことがあるならはっきり言ったら。
She's being like this now, all rushed and weirdly belligerent. Good grief. If you're that self-conscious about it, then you didn't need to use that tone with her, idiot.
じゃあ言うぞ、父さか。さっきのことだけど、さくらにあんまりきついこと言うな。さくらだって好きであんな体なわけじゃないんだ。
分かってるわよ。けどだからこそはっきり言わないといけないでしょ。半端な態度を取ったらそれこそ造形につけ込まれるだけでしょ。私はさくらに同情していない。だって造形の操り人形とかマトウに引き取られたこととか、そんなの私には関わりのないことだもの。
父さか。
いい？私があの家にいるのはさくらじゃなくてあなたがいるからよ。私の目的は聖杯であってさくらを助けることじゃない。そのためにはさくらを監視するし、嫌われたって構わない。だからさっきみたいなことも言うし、これからもさくらを敵として扱うんだから。
You know, I want to say that I've learned a little bit of, how Rin, goes about her plans here, her actions, if you will. And I do think she is telling the truth here, but there's also a side of her that still will, care for her. And I want to say that we saw a little bit out of that from the bad ending that we got, where we just straight up killed Sakura. So, I don't know, like, I believe her, but at the same time I don't.
じゃあ、遠坂は桜に嫌われても構わないっていうのか？今は赤の他人だから関係ないって？
そうよ。それに文句があるの、あなたは。
バカ。そんなのあるに決まってるだろう。
That's so like Tosaka. She's normally so bold and decisive, but right now I can see her clenching her fist and trying her best to convince herself.
わかった。
She's trying to do what she thinks is
好
right.
きなら好きにしろ。
I get that, for sure.
遠坂がどんな態度を取ったところで、気持ちはちゃんと桜に伝わってるんだしな。
伝わるってどういうことよ。
だから、お前がどのくらい桜を大切に思ってるかってこと。部外者である俺でも気がつくんだから、桜にはもろバレだ。
誤解よ。私はただ、その。
Uh-huh.
誤解も何もない。
Looks like I was somewhat right, guys.
どうでもいいやつに真剣には怒れない。遠坂が桜に厳しいのはそういうことだろ。口にはしないけど、お前の中じゃ桜は今でも大事な妹なんだ。
何言ってんのよバカ。やめてよね、そういう歯の浮くこと言うの。
Tosaka is so angry, she becomes red in the face. But it doesn't have its usual impact, which tells me enough.
なんだ、迷惑か、こういうの。
迷惑よ。
そうか。じゃあ迷惑ついでに言っとく。俺は遠坂と桜には仲良くしてもらいたい。桜は遠坂が好きで、遠坂だって桜が好きなんだから、今みたいにぎこちないのは気に食わない。
To be fair, I think things would be a lot easier for this to get through her thick-ass head if there wasn't a Holy Grail that we were after, Zoken wasn't around, with the potential of controlling her, and Sakura wasn't also a ticking time bomb.
あのね、私は桜を敵として見てるのよ。仲良くなっても仕方ないし、それに第一、今さらどうやって仲良くなれって言うのよ、あんたは。
I mean, you could be friends with anybody even after, a crazy amount of time of, distance, separation, whatever.
どうやってって。今のままでいいんじゃないか？自信持てよ、遠坂。お前、俺から見てもいいお姉さんだぞ。
無駄話はここまでよ。とりあえず、今朝のニュースでやってた現場に行くんだから。
Tosaka spins on her heel and stomps off. I follow her with an absent-minded sure. But then,
シロ。
she says my name without looking at me and, his first name. At that.
ありがとう。今の、なんか嬉しかった。
God damn. And grumbles embarrassed. It's part of the reason why I like Reen's character. Like, to be fair with you guys, I'm not a huge tsundere person. And there is quite a bit about Reen that, does bother me and irritate me. The way that she tries to, stand up and seem like such a powerful person, where on the inside, she's maybe not all that. And we were kind of seeing it there again. Which is how I was able to predict that what she was saying was maybe true, maybe not. And yeah, Shirou himself also truly sees that. But once you do get past that, I mean, Reen is a very maybe not very, but a defenseless character, like anybody else. You just see right through him. And that's okay. It's okay to be a little defenseless, to have your feelings, a little bit out there. And once they're out there, to understand them and accept them and all that. She's a cool character. And, tsundere or not, Reen is still my number one after all this time. And I'll stick to it. Like, I like Sakura, don't get me wrong, guys. And we still have more route to go, but I think I still have my number one at heart here. There's no one at the Central Park. It isn't particularly crowded even during the day, and now it's extra quiet after last night's murders. The park wasn't built as a place to rest between the office buildings. It's no different from an undeveloped wasteland.
殺人事件か。
Underdeveloped?
世間じゃ事件じゃなく事故って扱いみたいだけどね。まあ、確かに誰が死んで体のどこがなくなったのかいまいちわからないんじゃ 殺人って呼び方も怪しいか。
There are still bloodstains on the grass. Quite a lot of blood spilled in 4 separate areas. There's some distance from the blackened ground, probably because the victims tried to run away.
遠坂、お前はこれが造剣の仕業じゃないって言ったけど、どうだ、現場に来て印象は変わったか？
そうね。あの黒い影の仕業かと思ったけど、ちょっと違うみたい。
I'm telling you guys, Sakura.
あいつが出ると、辺りのマナーを軒並み飲み込んでいくでしょ。けど、ここ一帯の魔力は枯渇していない。まあ、ここで起きたことが予定外の食事だろうって見方は変わらないわ。
And that's all we managed to learn from the scene. We leave the site of the tragedy. We don't find anything else of note in Shinto. Given how conspicuous last night's incident was, it's possible that Zoken's group is trying to keep a low profile tonight. It's almost midnight. Tosuka and I head home, feeling a cool breeze from the riverbank. Well, this is a little anticlimactic. I was kind of looking forward to the patrol. I ask her a question on the way.
遠坂、Sakura、マトウの後継者なんだよな。
I've been curious about something for a while.
何を今さら。もう隠し事なんてないわよ。
いや、そうじゃなくて、後継者ってことは、さくらも魔術師なんだよな。なら、さくらはどんな魔術を使うんだろうって。
ああ、そういうこと。そうね。マトウの魔術は戒めとか強制とかそういうものだって聞くけど、レイジュだってマトウがいなかったらできなかったっていうし。
じゃあさくらの魔術は制約なのかな。けどそれだと。
That day, the magecraft that Sakura unleashed when the crestworms were attacking her must have been Ryder's power.
制約ではないと思う。それはマキリの禁呪であって得意とする魔術じゃないもの。まあ考えたところで意味ないわよ。さくらには魔術を使うだけの魔力がないもの。そんな余分な力真っ先に刻印中に食べられるんだから、魔術は組み立てられないはずよ。
そうか、それならいい。で、遠坂から見てさくらってどれぐらいの腕前なんだ。マトウの後継者ってことは同じぐらいなのか。
魔術回路の数で言うなら私と同じぐらいよ。シロ、私たちが姉妹ってこと忘れたの？
Right, now that she mentions it. That's why the Matos adopted her to begin with.
じゃあやっぱり遠坂と同じぐらい。
どうかしらね。私が五大元素でさくらは架空元素だったらしいわ。けどマトウは水属性だから無理やりそっちに変えられたのよ。鳥としてなら大空を飛べたものを無理やり海中に入れたらどうなると思う？
死ぬか、それとも。
そう、海中に適応する体を得るだけで精一杯よ。遠坂でなら大成しただろうけど、無理やりマトウにさせられたさくらはシロと変わらないわ。
Damn, in a way that kind of feels like wasted potential in a way. It sucks that it's only, you know, that there can only be one successor. I get why that is. From a literal standpoint, I mean, only one can carry the crest forward. But it is very unfortunate because it does seem like both would have been great together.
体を鍛えてある分、あなたの方が何倍も強いでしょうね。
じゃあ仮に遠坂とさくらが魔術戦をすれば、
10回中10回私の勝ち。さくらの魔力量じゃ私の防壁を突破できない。
I see. I don't know what kind of magecraft Sakura can use, but her power dynamic with Tosuka is clear. Tosuka isn't the type to brag, so she's probably just stating the facts.
けど恥ずかしいな。さくらが魔術師だったことにも気づかなければ、さくらの腕前もわからない。これでさくらの保護者を気取ってたなんて、とんだ大バカ者だ。
あのね、さくらは体内の魔力を刻印中に食べられちゃうんだから、そばにいても魔術師だってわからないわよ。それにあの子はあなたにだけはバレないようにって頑張ってきたのよ。だから
Yeah, don't need to tell me twice. Even if Sakura is a mage, she's still Sakura. I'm not sophisticated enough to play games with her anyway. No matter who she is, all I can do is treat her the same way I always have.
そうだな。遠坂がそれでいいって言うんなら、俺は今までと同じようにさくらとやっていく。魔術師として手を貸してもらおうなんて思わないけど、それでいいんだな。
もちろんよ。あなたがさくらに頼ろうなんて言い出したら、その時はさくらは私の家に連れ戻してたところ。
The way she says it is, the way she says it so gently with a smile makes my heart skip a beat. See, you're a great big sister, Tosaka.
けど、それも無理かな。
Why do these characters all have like a goofy
あな
look
たの
like
家だ
this?
と笑うんだもの。
I love it, but it's like,
昨日から
it
何
is
が驚い
goofy.
たかって、それが一番驚いたわ。
That was a surprise? The thought seems to make Tosaka so happy.
笑うって、さくらはその。
And that's how she always is.
ええ、私の取り越し苦労だったけどね。そのさ、私はさくらとはあんまり話せないから、その代わりに暇さえあれば見てたのよ。あの子が私と同じ学園に入ってからは、毎日のように弓道部に入り浸ってたし。
ああ、それは知ってるけど。
うん。それでね、しばらく経ってから気がついたのよ。あの子、一度も笑ってないって。
That sounds pretty believable even though I'm only hearing it for the first time. Now that I think about it, Sakura's always pretty gloomy at school.
まあ、それもあなたがいる時だけは別だったけど、たまにシロウが弓道部に来た時はさくらだって笑ってた。要するにさくらが元気な時は、エミやシロウが目の前にいる時だけなのよ。
Tosaka is saying something that should make me happy, but somehow
さくら、人前では笑わないのか。
I feel like I just learned a terrible truth about her. It's kind of like a lonely feeling in a way. It's past 1 in the morning by the time I'm back in my bedroom. I plop down on my futon. Tonight's patrol was fruitless. All we learned was that the story on the morning news was true. The enemy I have to defeat. To be honest, when I think about that thing I'll have to fight eventually, it gives me chills and makes me want to vomit. Zoken and Assassin are opponents that a human can still fight, but the other two aren't. I'm not even sure if the Shadow can die. As for Saber, I don't have a chance in hell of beating her. But now that innocent people are dying, it doesn't matter whether I can win or not. You know, I've been thinking a little bit, maybe, where did this shadow come from, right? Like, I haven't really thought of like the origins of it, but nothing has necessarily changed in terms of like the Holy Grail itself. But we feel like a connection to the Holy Grail whenever we're around it. When we first confronted it, we had the flashback back to 10 years ago. That same idea, the curse that comes from the Holy Grail. And then here we have, with the previous night's incident, we have Rin kind of stating that she kind of feels like this could have been the Shadow's doing up until we were actually there. Then it was a different vibe. And the vibe that we got, I think I'm going to have to go back to the episode of when we first, came across the Shadow. And even during the night when we went up to Ryoto Temple. But I feel like we're kind of missing something. And I want to say that there's a connection with Sakura. Now, I don't know if I've actually put the two together before, the Shadow and Sakura. And I don't know why I'm thinking that now. But could there be a connection? Or are they totally separate? And even if there is a connection, I wouldn't really know why. Again, I'm unable to really figure out where this shadow has even come from. It just kind of feels like a whole new variable was thrown into the story and then here we are. But there has to be a reason for everything. Otherwise, shit just doesn't make sense. But then again, you know what? It is fiction, so, fiction do what fiction wants to do. I touched the red cloth around my left arm. I do have a weapon. I don't know how well it'll work, but it's still a weapon. The question is whether I can master it and whether I'll be able to survive using it.
少しだけなら大丈夫だよな。
Yeah, probably not. Fuck. I unwrap the red cloth. My blood starts to flow as soon as I loosen the binding. That's a terrible fucking idea, by the way. Suddenly, I feel like I hear a beast howling. Something stabs me. It's stabbing me throughout my body. Is this pain? If it is, then no pain I felt before counts as pain anymore. Why did you do that? Why the fuck did you do that? The uneven tatami. My bed's softness hurts me. I feel like I'm sitting on a hill of swords. The air is toxic, and I die 3 times from breathing it. A bird chirps in the distance. The wind is strong. There's no humidity. My skin dries out and turns to sand. It flows and slows away. I crumble away. Hot stakes stab me through the exposed holes. 32 of them, through my shoulder. Each of them delicately, meticulously, excellently, precisely skewers my internal jugular vein, trachea, spinal cord, sympathetic nerves, bilateral upper, middle, and lower lobes. I am being invited to play arc raiders, aorta, heart, diaphragm, spleen, stomach, liver, and all 8 sections of my large intestine. Again, why the fuck did you do that, man? I'm crumbling. Time slows at a frightening pace. I watch 60 trillion cells crumble at a rate of 340 per second. There is no pain. There is no pain. There is no pain. There is only terror. The credits roll, invading with astonishing speed. The flashback stops on a maniacal image. The death to come, the death in the past, the death happening now. The pain isn't physical pain, but a burst of rejection each time death strikes me. I hear a noise. I'm on my knees. It's the sound of my head hitting the floor. My eyes are hot. I realize I've been crying. I desperately stop a scream from escaping my throat. I curl up into a ball, tuck my head into my stomach, and clutch my left arm in my right hand, weeping. I'm scared. I haven't felt this since the fire 10 years ago. I'm scared. It's the dread that every living creature feels. I'm scared. For the first time in my life, I want to escape my own doom. I'm being invited into playing Arc Raiders. We gotta wrap this up. Arc Raiders is pretty fun, by the way. I don't reject death because it hurts, nor because I want to live. It just scares me. I tie the red cloth back on. I knot it over and over so that it'll never come loose again. I was sobbing. The priest said that I'd die if I used the left arm. That's bullshit. I'll die if I even take off this shroud. My body might be able to take it, but my mind will go first. Even slightly loosening it and exposing the skin to the air was enough of mental ordeal. If I couldn't even endure that, then I can't possibly live without the shroud. No. If this arm is a contradictory thing, then no one should touch. Then it's too late. My body is already a train on an abandoned and condemned railroad track running to its final stop. A ship with a crack and its hull sinking into the ocean depths with no one to save it. Only the passengers are unaware. And by the time they notice, it's already too late. Some crazy visuals here. My breathing is ragged. I was having a bad dream. I wipe sweat from my forehead. I can't even stand up. I just stay curled up, bearing this pain I don't understand in my head. I don't understand. I can't remember. My left arm hurts. It hurts so bad I wish I didn't have a left arm. I try to remember why it hurts so much, but I can't remember how I was feeling just a second ago. Actually, that's a fair point. Why did we have to have the arm transplant? Couldn't we have just, stopped the bleeding and call it good? The pain recedes. I managed to bundle up my disjointed mind. It must have been because I was sleeping. It was probably that shadowy figure doing some crazy-ass damage. My scattered memories feel like chopped onions that should cook nicely if I organize them. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. See, Add a drizzle of soy sauce for color, some pepper for flavor, and a pinch of potato starch to bring the mess all together. My brother in Christ, what the fuck are you talking about now? I mumble absently. My useless head that only knows how to help other people so much, it's a nuisance. God damn it, my friends really want me to play. That it's a nuisance, it comes up with one conclusion. I don't have to eat something that doesn't look tasty. I lost it already. It doesn't make sense to rely on something that isn't there. Therefore, Shirou Emiya has no weapon. He has to suppress this alien thing as long as he lives, and it will taint him for the rest of his life. It's futile to restrain it with this cloth. There's only one way to truly escape this poison. Yep, chop it off. There you go. Yeah, just cut it off. I know that, but I can't bear to let it go. The muzzle of a gun points at my temple. I imagine its trigger. The left arm is the trigger. Once I pull it, it'll operate as designed and blow my brains out. I'm trembling. In the dim light, I hold my breath and stare at the blank wall. I hold my left arm tight again and fall back down. God damn it. I close my eyes. I stifle my pathetic moans. It's time to sleep so I can be rested tomorrow. As we shut our eyes, we only see 4 words. Just cut it off. A small noise. What the fuck's going on here? I don't like this noise. I'm scared of this noise. Yeah, I gotta wrap it up here. I am being summoned, as I'm sure you guys were able to hear a few times. Okay, I don't know what this noise is, but I guess we'll find out in the next episode. Sorry if I sounded a little congested or just unable to really talk too much. I'm still getting over the sickness. I do feel better, but yeah, I'm not fully there yet. Almost there, but not entirely there. I'm working on it. Yeah, out of context, the sound doesn't sound really good. But anyways, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.